This week on Back to the Movies, the start of a spooky October,
as well as a plethora of upcoming releases.
Welcome back to the movies. Welcome to a new episode of Back to the Movies. I'm Robin Oakman.
My name is Brett Pettit.
Let's just jump right in. We are coming off of a good weekend.
Yes.
Especially for this time of year.
Oh, yeah.
It's fall, which means new horror movies, a kid's movie here and there.
Yep. And horror movies certainly are the dominant force at the box office this week. Taking a look at this past weekend's box office, number one is The Exorcist Believer.
Yeah, I think it's neat.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen the first Exorcist because it's based on a book, and I want to read the book first. But it has a massive cultural impact,
yes.
I would say. Ask somebody, our parents' age, what's the scariest movie that you've ever seen? They'd probably say The Exorcist.
Yep, exactly. I've never seen a horror movie, but I'm glad it's doing well. First weekend, it's already made $46 million worldwide. Now, next up is the opposite end of the totem pole, which is Paw Patrol: The Mighty Movie. I think this is the sequel. The first one came out in 2021. They also announced a sequel to this, I think. So good for this one. It's been out for 2 weeks now, and I think it's almost at its end of the theatrical run.
All of these released at the end of September.
Yes.
Same day. There was some discussion of Saw Patrol because
yes.
The next title being Saw X.
Yep.
And then after that is Gareth Edwards, the creator, which we mentioned in our last episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's not doing as well as hoped.
Yeah.
But it's still an impressive feat.
Yes. We'll see what Gareth Edwards does next from here. And then the last movie is a movie I have not heard of before.
I had to look up what this was.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw the box office for this last weekend. The Blind is a biopic about the main guy on Duck Dynasty.
Really?
It's like a Christian film about redemption and recovering from life events.
Wow.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's the weekend's box office. It's first full weekend in first weekend of October.
Yes.
First full weekend. So yeah. Up next, the content continues. There are so many upcoming releases. Actually, there's a few recent releases which we should discuss first.
Yeah. Starting off, Castlevania Nocturne, which is a sequel series to the Castlevania series that was released on Netflix. I watched Castlevania around the time when it first came out, and then it got 3 seasons, and I watched all of them, and they were all pretty good. I haven't watched Castlevania Nocturne yet. So Castlevania is a video game series, and Nocturne is based on Castlevania. It shows the lineage of a family over several hundred years of them all fighting vampires. Usually that vampire is Dracula.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, Nocturne is the next generation of vampire hunter.
Mm-hmm. Yes. This is a spinoff to the main series, if I'm correct?
Yeah, it's a sequel series.
Sequel.
But yeah, they released their full season on September 28th.
Cool. Next up is Our Flag Means Death, Season 2. This is having a staggered release. This is on Max, formerly known as HBO Max. And it's having a staggered release approach, so it's releasing 3 episodes that have already come out. 2 more episodes come out on October 12th, and then the last 2 more come out on October 19th, and the last one comes out on October 6th. So
October 26th.
October 26th, yes, sorry. October show. So, yeah, glad it's getting a Season 2, and excited to see more of it.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it.
Yes.
I've not watched it personally, though.
I also have not watched it personally, but the trailer intrigues me. Coming up next, though, there is so much coming up these next few weeks that's not even just in streaming, but in theaters as well. We'll go down the list, not necessarily in chronological order, but of course, the big new Disney Plus title coming out right now is Loki Season 2, and its episode 2 comes out October 12th. You're going to be hearing that date a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, very exciting. I believe there's 6 episodes in this season, so curious to see what else Loki is up to.
We'll touch more on that in our individual sections here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next up is Gen V. Now, I should preface, this is a spin-off to The Boys. It is not for the faint of heart. It is very, very, very not PG. But I have seen it. I'm a big fan of The Boys, and I do love it dearly. This episode 5 is coming out. There are 8 episodes total. Episode 5 comes out October 12th as well. So a very good day for me on October 12th. As well, next up is Rick and Morty, which premieres its 7th season. It's crazy they're already on season 7. On October 15th, they go weekly, I believe, every Sunday. I don't know if they'll do all 10 episodes, but hopefully they do. So that starts up on Sunday night, usual time on Adult Swim. Yeah, what's up next, Robin?
We have a special theater event.
Yes.
Taylor Swift The Eras Tour is releasing in theaters on October 13th.
Yep.
So this Friday, as we've mentioned in our past episode, Taylor Swift is a driving force in the economy.
Yep.
So as soon as this was announced, tickets started selling out.
Yes.
Theaters are full. It's going to make a ton of money, just like the actual concert tour did.
Yes. Taylor Swift will be making a ton of money, especially because she's going directly with AMC. She's not going through studios. So very, very good for Taylor Swift and all that. Next up is the Doom Patrol, which is a DC series on Max, which is not a lot of people watch. I've seen seasons 1 and 2, but its final season is premiering October 12th.
Yeah, I'm not sure where I am in seasons. I think I got to the end of like season 2. It's really promising. It's definitely not normal. Like it's not your traditional superhero fare. Doom Patrol has always been the comic book series that takes the universe in new, interesting, and very often strange directions.
Yeah, and DC series have been pretty good about that lately. Like I've also watched Harley Quinn, which has been very unique, as well as Swamp Thing was a while ago, but still very praised by its fans. But I digress. The final season premieres October 12th, so exciting. What's up next, Robin?
Goosebumps.
Ooh.
It's a real spooky series based on children's paperback books.
Okay.
But we will talk a little bit more coming up back after this next break.
Hi, I'm not Greg Marcus,
And I'm also not Greg Marcus.
and welcome to Back to the Movies.
If you want to watch 2, occasionally 3, college students talk about the movies they love and hate.
Catch a new episode every other Friday on UTVS at 8 p.m. Also available on Vimeo. So please, join us.
Now, if you'll excuse us, we have to get back to the movies.
Welcome back. When we left off, we were talking about Goosebumps, a book series by author R.L. Stine. Trade paperbacks found in elementary school classrooms across the nation.
Yes.
Very good, like starter reading ones. I read a few myself, but I think most people our age and older grew up with like it was a 90s adaptation. Very early special effects.
Yeah.
Didn't look fantastic, but they used some more practical stuff. And then that had a revival, like a reboot in 2016 with Jack Black, I think.
Oh.
I'm not positive on the year. And so now it's getting a new series on Disney Plus and Hulu, premiering this Friday, October 13th.
Cool. Up next is Frasier, which is having a new series. I believe it's just known as Frasier 2023, and it premieres October 12th. Shocking, a lot of October 12th stuff. And I've never seen Frasier. I don't know anything about it, but it's starring Jack Scott and a bunch of other names. So yeah, very, very cool if you're excited for that. And then lastly, it's not a traditional series or movie, but it is a special called Once Upon a Studio, released by Disney. And it is a celebration of their animation since the Disney company is turning 100 years old this year. And it's really cool. I'm very excited. I believe it's premiering on cable on October 15th. I want to say ABC. I have to fact check, but I'm really excited for it. It's a short, so it's not going to be it's not a very long thing, but I'm very curious to see how the animation styles gel in Celebration.
Disney and Disney Plus, their behind the scenes documentary things are really good. I really enjoyed their Star Wars gallery.
Oh yes.
On their different series, because you get to sit down with all the directors and they just talk about their process and the challenges they face when making these episodes. But anyway, we'll move on to my thoughts. I haven't been watching terribly much since we last met, but I should mention important holiday last week.
Yes.
On October 3rd, he asked me what day it was. It's October 3rd. That's a line from the 2005 film Mean Girls, starring Lindsay Lohan, Rachel McAdams, Amanda Seyfried, Tina Fey. It's very emblematic of that era. Like the Y2K fashion, as people would call it. It's written by Lorne Michaels, who's known for SNL. But yeah, really solid comedy. I should note Rachel McAdams, who plays Regina George, who is the villain of the film. That exact same year, she did The Notebook. Ryan Gosling. So it's like two polar opposite projects, and both were really successful. And it's worth noting, Mean Girls is getting it went to Broadway as a musical. So now it's getting a movie version of the musical.
Oh, okay.
Which happens from time to time, but yeah, it's interesting. I don't have much more to say about Mean Girls except it's funny. It's from over 15 years ago, so some things haven't necessarily aged well, but I would definitely recommend giving it a look if you're like 13 and older. Anyway, moving on. Ahsoka ended last week.
Yes, it did.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
I like Star Wars, and I'm going to keep saying it, and every time you see my face on this show, I'm probably going to bring up Star Wars in one way or another. But very fortunate that we live in this era where we get a new Star Wars Disney Plus show pretty much every year, sometimes two in that same year. But yeah, I was very pleased with it. Having watched the Clone Wars and the Rebels series, it brings together a lot of these characters, and it tells a really unique story while also setting up to something bigger.
Yes.
Leading up to future seasons of The Mandalorian, because it takes place concurrently with Mandalorian season 3, and it's going to eventually, we don't know exactly when, but it's going to lead up into a movie in which our heroes fight against the heir to the Empire, Grand Admiral Thrawn. Anyway,
Directed by Dave Filoni.
Directed by Dave Filoni, who is the project lead on Clone Wars, also known for his work on Avatar: The Last Airbender and Star Wars Rebels.
Cool. What else have you been watching?
Over this past summer, and I'm not positive when I started. It might have even been last fall.
Okay.
I hear from people, The Simpsons. You have to go back and watch the old seasons.
Yep.
Because people say Simpsons was at its peak from probably like seasons 2 to 11, which was like early 90s to late 90s. But I have to say it does hold up. There are some pop culture references you don't pick up. Like politics and the Clinton administration. But I definitely recommend giving The Simpsons a look. It's a bit of an investment. There's a lot of seasons, but yeah.
Just a few.
We'll talk after the break.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right seat.
It's important to get a flu shot each and every year because flu viruses are constantly changing and immunity from the vaccine decreases over time. Flu vaccines are updated annually to work against that year's viruses. The best time to get your shot is in the fall, but getting it later can still help. Getting a flu shot lowers your risk of getting sick, and if you do happen to get flu, it's likely to be less severe.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Welcome back. We were briefly discussing The Simpsons. That pretty much closes my thoughts on the matter. It's good. Watch it. You don't have to watch all of it, but give it a shot. There's going to be some jokes that you like. There's going to be some memes that you recognize. Anyway.
Oh yeah, no, The Simpsons is great. I have been watching a lot too. You mentioned Ahsoka. I just thought I'd bring this up. I like Star Wars, but I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. So I decided to watch Ahsoka, partly because you kind of were like really ecstatic about it. So I was like, oh, check it out. I have not seen the Clone Wars or Rebels. I have watched Bad Batch. I love the Bad Batch. I have not seen the two shows. So it was a very different experience for me watching Ahsoka, not knowing like the lore behind all the characters and like who this is. In fact, I came to Robin after binging it. I was like, so wait, what was this?
Mm-hmm.
But we have two very different perspectives on watching it, and I still liked it. Like I'm very excited for what comes next. But I just thought that was interesting. But I really did like Ahsoka, and I'm excited to see what happens next for Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess the first thing I watched in these past few weeks was Dumb Money. I talked about this on the last episode, but I was very excited for this movie. In fact, it is related to my prop today. I was going to do something a lot more elaborate. I was going to go to like GameStop and buy like something there, or like it's Dumb Money, so I brought $1. You get it? Okay. But yeah, I really Dumb Money is about the Reddit stock craze back in early January of 2021, I think, or February.
Something like that.
But yeah, it tells the story of like how it happens and who the people involved. I got a lot of my enjoyment out of it because like I was on Reddit when it happened. I was there. But I don't know how it would play to someone who doesn't know like anything about Reddit or the whole stock craze. I think you can definitely enjoy it. I'm glad I saw it, but I don't know if I'd do it again. I will say the performances in it are really good. Paul Dano is really good in it, as well as everyone else. But yeah, I like Dumb Money. Not a PG film, of course, but I thought it was very good. Completely unrelated. I also watched The Fifth Element this past week. It was recommended to me, and I decided, you know what, I'll check out something that hasn't come out in like the past 15 years. So I did, and I thought it was a very good film. It was not what I expected, but I'm glad I saw it. I think I need to watch more films that were not made when I was in the time span that I've been alive.
Mm-hmm.
Classics, if you will. So, and then I have a few series that I've been watching. We've kind of already touched on them. Loki, I like Loki. I love the season 1. I've watched the season 2. Excited for what Loki does more in the next episodes. I also said I'm watching Gen V. I'm very excited to see what happens in that. They got some. It's just really good. Not for kids, not for the young ones, but I do like it a lot. And then I also watched Ahsoka. But yeah, what have you been watching, Robin?
Yeah, like I said, I also watched the beginning of this new Loki season. I'm interested to see where it goes, but I had a moment recently where I stopped and thought, like, how much of this time travel stuff are people getting?
Yeah.
Because, and it's, like, time travel is an important science fiction topic.
You talking about Loki or Ahsoka?
Loki.
Okay, I think
Yeah.
you might have said Ahsoka, but Loki.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. time travel is weird.
Yes.
And sometimes I worry that things aren't gonna make sense to people. And so, like, there's a moment in the first season where Loki has to very clearly spell something out using like salt and pepper shakers as props.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like a lot of explanation of time travel boils down to that.
Yeah.
Is, well, there's a wormhole, and so I'm going to take this piece of paper and I'm going to fold it up, and then I'm going to stick a pen through it. And that's how wormholes work, guys.
The rules being different for like every movie that has time travel does not help this at all. Like I feel like lots of people are like, oh, it's Back to the Future time travel, and then there's like movies that are more recent, big movies that make $2.6 billion that do time travel slightly differently. But yeah, the differing rules between projects can really kind of confuse people.
Sometimes I think that with Endgame, they have sort of written themselves into a corner into how the time travel should work.
Yeah.
Because when people try to discuss how time travel is working in the MCU, people always harken back to Professor Hulk's like speech.
Yeah, exactly.
In Endgame, it's like, if you go back, your future is not the future; it's your past future. But in doing so, that becomes your present future. And so so they wrote that scene specifically to make it seem convoluted and confusing. And I feel like that complicates things, but at the same time, I think that Loki has helped people sort of ease into that.
Yeah, and not to mention also Marvel is dealing with timelines and multiverses, and it's getting complicated.
Yeah.
But Loki, very excited for it.
It's good.
Yeah.
We've mentioned in the past, Tom Hiddleston's performance is really good, and we're glad that he's been able to continue it.
Yeah.
We'll come back after the break.
I'm an actor in an ad that was given 12 seconds to remind you that if you're high, just don't drive. Because if you feel different, you drive different. It's illegal to drive high everywhere anyway.
Today, we face an unprecedented crisis. Tens of millions of refugees have been forced from their homes. But you can make a difference. Turn disruption and despair to hope and opportunity. Even small amounts make a big difference. Provide shelter, support, or jobs in your community. The more we understand, the greater sense of belonging we create. Act now. Visit supportcrisisrelief.org.
Best crowd in college hockey. Best atmosphere in college hockey. I mean, this is what it's all about.
Again, so far, St. Cloud getting an opportunity here. Cooper scores! Turnaround shot, Kelsey. They score!
To guarantee a spot, and we put ourselves in a good spot. There we go.
Welcome back. I realized I went almost this entire show without explaining what this prop on the table here is. This is a Lego skull. I purchased it from the Lego store at the Mall of America for $30. I've never owned Lego storage heads before because you can find them, and it's October, and so I thought, it's so fun and spooky. But you get spare parts with Lego sets, and so I put my spare parts in here now. Anyway, this day in cinema history, just go right into it. 1962, Joan Cusack is born. People our age might know her better as Jessie from Toy Story and the principal from the Jack Black film School of Rock.
Yep.
1963, next year, William Shatner, better known as Captain James T. Kirk, stars in the classic Twilight Zone episode Nightmare at 10,000 Feet. That's the one where he sees the gremlin on the wing of the plane and no one believes him. Also parodied in an episode of The Simpsons, in a Treehouse of Horror episode. 1965, Sean Patrick Flannery is born. People might know him from playing young Indiana Jones in the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. It was meant as like sort of an educational thing.
Yep.
1975. This is a big one that we thought was really interesting, Brett.
Yeah, Saturday Night Live premiered in 1975 with George Carlin as the host. I just think it's so cool. It's a lot of SNL. And they're coming up on their anniversary as well in a few years. 50 years of SNL. That's a lot of SNL. So that's really cool.
It's an impressive feat. 2002, The Transporter releases. It's an action movie with Jason Statham. 2019, all on the same day, same year, October 11th. The Addams Family. It's an animated version of the characters you might see Wednesday. Gemini Man. It's a movie where Will Smith fights like a clone of his younger self. I don't really know how it works. And this is a really big one. In 2019, El Camino, which is it's the sequel sort of to Breaking Bad. It follows what happens to Jesse Pinkman after the movie. That's a lot. We hope you enjoyed our show. We hope you get back to the movies. And we hope you have a good night. Thank you.
Hi, I'm not Greg Marcus.
And I'm also not Greg Marcus.
And welcome to Back to the Movies.
If you want to watch 2, occasionally 3, college students talk about the movies they love and hate.
Catch a new episode every other Friday on UTVS at 8 p.m. Also available on Vimeo. So please, join us.
Now, if you'll excuse us, we have to get back to the movies.
It's important to get a flu shot each and every year because flu viruses are constantly changing and immunity from the vaccine decreases over time. Flu vaccines are updated annually to work against that year's viruses. The best time to get your shot is in the fall, but getting it later can still help. Getting a flu shot lowers your risk of getting sick, and if you do happen to get flu, it's likely to be less severe.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.